bringing the people behind our food to life.
We call it Village Homestead. It's our little quarter-acre homestead. Moved here in 2003, and really just trying to. Well, there was actually nothing here, believe it or not. There was only this big apple tree here, and this plum tree. There's just those two trees and nothing else. It was literally sod. So over time, just started, remove the sod and started planting the fruit trees, shrubs, the underlayer, the blueberries, hazelnuts. Then a few years ago, then put in the vegetable garden. So we've just been really just trying to maximize our space.
So what's your intent here?
Really our intent, is I wanted to kind of create we have a couple kids, so I wanted to create a kind of a practical, fun oasis for the kids, but also make it more practical as well by just growing as much edibles as we can, producing as much food as we can in a small space. We put a lot of, planted the trees and shrubs, like I said, first, and then this was actually the vegetable garden was the last thing to go in, and kind of reserved our, best sun spot for the vegetable garden. So pretty much everything, everything you see is edibles. We have pineapple guava here, filled in blueberry. And then I put here, toward the end of the property, put in 3 hazelnuts. Provides good privacy when we're up on our deck. And, if I can figure out how to, outcompete the squirrels, we'll eventually get some hazelnuts. One idea in a permaculture circles is to put, a couple buckets of sawdust so that, and underneath the trees, and so the squirrels end up burying the hazelnuts into the sawdust, and so you can just take your hazelnuts. But I haven't done that yet, so
maybe
it
this
needs
year?
some more field testing, yeah.
So the wine barrel itself is holding...
That little copper pipe is the pump off the washing machine, and it's just gravity. Just gravity pushes the water through a hose, and I'll just put the hose at the bottom of a different plant. And each time we do a load, I'll just move it to a different place that needs water.
So is this the elderflower here?
Yeah, it's the elderflower.
And what do you use elderflower for? Or why do you grow it?
Yeah, elderflower is very medicinal, but we let it go to the, let it fruit for the elderberries, and then we just slough off the whole branch, the whole small branch with the berries, and then stick that in a plastic bag, put it in the freezer, and then that makes it easy to get it off the branch. Then we can make, elderberry syrup for the winter. So yeah, this is autumn olive that I planted, probably 7 or 8 years ago. The chickens really like it. They eat the leaves, so it's planted it near the chicken coop.
Well, tell me about the coop.
Yeah, we got this. It was a kids' playhouse that we got on Craigslist, and we took it apart on their property, brought it over here, put it back together, built a roof. Then I built a run with our old deck wood, and we've had up to 13 chickens at a time, but we keep it right around 10, and that's definitely plenty of eggs. But they have free reign of the garden, except you'll notice, the vegetable garden is fenced off, but they pretty much have free reign of the garden. So I let them out during the day, and they go in at night, shut the door, and they're good. It's not really a big enough coop unless we're away out of town, they can handle being in there, but we like to give them, space and be able to get the bugs, and makes, more nutritious eggs. We have bees. Well, we've had bees for 3 years, and started out with a wild swarm. The 2 on the top are beehives, which is a Kenyan model that was they were able to take on the boats with them downriver. We definitely get a good amount of honey, but we're more bee guardians in the sense that We don't have bees for the necessarily the production aspect, just for the the benefit of having bees and producing wild swarms every spring, usually in April. They'll swarm at least 2 or 3 times. So then we can catch that swarm and refill our boxes if need be, or give them to friends and family, and for them to have bees of their own. Yeah, we've noticed a big difference in our fruit production. It's definitely a benefit having the bees pollinate everything. And we get a couple gallons of honey every year, which is plenty for our own use. And it's really just fascinating to watch them do their thing. If you go on our deck, it's really interesting. You look, you can literally, it's just like this bee highway. It's really cool. Just, whew, I mean, they're just flying off doing their thing. So yeah, this is a really interesting plant called gumi. And it's planted because it's kind of an all-purpose. It's a nitrogen fixer. And it produces a very nutritious berry.
A gumi?
Yeah. Gumi
Where does it originate?
From the Caucasian Mountains, the Ukraine, Russia region. So it is a deciduous, but it's very shade tolerant. It makes a great understory for an orchard. So planted it amongst the apples and plums, but
And what do they taste like? Anything that anybody else might be familiar with?
Not really. It's pretty unique. You got to get them right when they're, kind of plump and ripe. Otherwise, they're pretty sour. But they're sweet. I think it's popular to make juices out of them in Russia. The flowers are right in the spring, right around April. Amazing smell. Bees love it. So it'll attract beneficial insects as well. So another good aspect.
What do you got going here?
Oh, we have kale and lots of lettuce with peas. This is perennial arugula, sylvetta, and that's really nice because it's one of the first to come up in the in February to start growing again. So it kind of gives a good, nice source of nutritious greens. But I try to create a constant harvest by stretching out the planting time. So I'll plant. Right now we have quite a bit of lettuce to harvest, but I just every evening we're able to get a nice salad, and then I'll harvest a head of lettuce, then plant another one, so that we have kind of a consistent supply of greens. And I put some celery. We have some celery here.
What got you to do all this? Why such a diverse way of growing your food?
I don't know. I guess ultimately it's just been a deep interest in gardening and farming, and wanting to. We came up here from California and we had a quarter acre, so we don't have extensive amount of land and farmland. So I've just wanted to really grow as much food as possible and have our kids really know where food comes from, and taste that leaf of lettuce that's really fresh, so they know what food really should taste like. And I love working with the soil. I love planting things. I love growing things. So it's really just been kind of looked at this as my art canvas to grow and learn about plants, and kind of create these wild areas too. Just kind of let it kind of take on a life of its own as well.
So for you, it's important to grow something that produces something to eat.
Yeah, I've always just kind of been that way. Yeah, I like to, if I'm going to grow something, I'd like the multifunction aspect of it being beautiful and edible.